And welcome everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. I'm of course your host with the most, who's always eating those eggs, bacon, and toast, Mr. Andrew Valentin himself. And as you guys can see, I am all by myself once again. Tom right now is somewhere in Gotham trying to save crime. Tyler, I believe, is actually trying to see if he can swim across the Atlantic at this point. So it's just going to be me by myself here once again, of course, from the Illinois Media School here in Lombard, Illinois. I'm, of course, joined by my guy, Jake Bradley back there, my producer, as always. He would speak, but right now he's trying to see how many Oreos he can fit inside his mouth at the same time. So we're just going to let him do that while he runs the show back there, and I'm just going to talk in front of you guys the entirety of the time. So I hope you guys are ready for that, because whew, man, it has been an exciting week, especially an exciting Saturday. I hope you guys are enjoying your Saturday. It's like Christmas in September here at the X-Bomb Sports Live Show, and I hope you guys are ready for this one, because I know I am. I know these guys probably are. I know everybody else out there is. So let's kick this one off, but I want to kick it off by asking you guys a question. Have you ever been to the mall or like a department store like Walmart or Target or anything like that, or maybe you've been to the market or something like that, and you ever seen the parent, the husband, the wife, or the parents with the child that's starting to kind of act up, and then slowly but surely the child starts to really start to throw a tantrum, right? Maybe they're screaming and yelling, "No, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that." You ever seen that from a 31-year-old man who makes millions of dollars? That's right. If you guys don't know, I'm talking about Antonio Brown in this situation. Oh, you thought we were done with that? You're dead wrong, because the news has finally broke. This is the biggest news of the story. It is Antonio Brown is officially no longer an Oakland Raider. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Antonio Brown has officially been released from the Oakland Raiders. And I got to say, when I saw this news, I woke up in the morning and I had seen the video that he posted on Instagram, and we're going to scroll through his history real fast with this, but I saw the video, I had seen the Instagram post, and then I saw the news when I walked in the building today, and it caught me way off guard, as I'm sure it did everybody else. But in the 1 hour that I was here at our studio, social media exploded. I mean, it's insane. So let's trace through his history real fast, shall we? So ESPN has a date-by-date on what exactly broke down for Antonio Brown. We may not jump through all of these, but we'll get through. These are the important ones, okay? So March 13th, that's right, we got to go all the way back to March when this happened. March 13th, Antonio Brown's been traded for a third and a fifth round pick from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Oakland Raiders, right? He gets a $30.125 million extension on a 3-year deal. So now he is stepping up, becoming a Raiders wide receiver, all that good stuff, right? So May 28th is where we jump to now, May 28th. Brown is impressing some of the coaches at OTAs. A lot of people are saying that he's looking like he's in another headspace. He looks like he's in a very clear place. He looks like he's actually going to be performing at a high level. Okay, cool. So July 25th, Brown goes to Napa, California, for training camp with the frostbite on his feet. Remember, he had went to France or something like that, whatever, to go get this cryotherapy done on his body to get him prepared for the upcoming season. Well, apparently somebody didn't tell him that you got to put something on your feet when you're in negative 100-degree chilling cryo chamber. Yeah, apparently that just didn't cross his mind. He thought, well, I've been hit by Vontaze Burfict head on. Maybe I don't need shoes. Or maybe that's the reason why he forgot the shoes, right? Maybe the hit possibly did something to him. Maybe this whole situation is because Vontaze Burfict hit him in the head with his helmet. Who knows? The targeting call could have definitely rattled his brain for all we know. But he shows up there with the whole, injured feet. They look disgusting. I would have found a picture, but I'm not gonna do that to anybody out there, certainly. July 26th, he comes into camp on a hot air balloon, which is, hey, good for you, buddy. And he's on the non-football injury list. July 28th, he's activated from the non-football injury list and participates in walkthroughs. July 30th, he goes through half of practice, shuts it down early, and doesn't return because he is protesting about the fact that he is not allowed to use his old helmet, right? This helmet from the 1960s, which is his 10-year-old Shoot Air Advantage helmet. It's a helmet that is now outdated according to the NFL rules, something they have to do in order to sort of upgrade the helmets to make it safer for the players. It's an old helmet that, players played with. It's the old helmet Tom Brady wore, essentially. It's that same helmet. So then from there, we jump to August 13th, right? He returns to Napa, saying it was good to hear from the general manager, Mike Mayock, and John Gruden for supporting his absence. He had filed the grievance against the NFL to wear his old helmet. NFL says, look, if you retire or if you wear that old helmet, you're in breach of contract. You've got your choice to make. You want to make your money or not. He says, fine, right? So August 15th, Brown and Derek Carr, they're in pregame warm-ups in Arizona. Brown doesn't play in the game, but, they're playing catch with each other. They're looking pretty good. We're getting a little bit of what we thought was going to be the future to come. August 18th, you get the first grievance is a loss, right? That's where that comes up. He's fined $40,000 by Mayock for an unexcused absence. And that's when Mayock says, you're all in or you're all out. All right, and now we'll just jump through this real fast. Then he gets the second grievance he files through, right? He says, no, wait, you guys gave Tom Brady a 1-year grace period. I want one. NFL says no. They fine him again for missing another walkthrough and missing another practice, right? Mike Mayock fines him again. This coming from the August 22nd incident. And then things really spiral out of control, right? Because then Mike Mayock sends him that whole fine of about $50,000. Antonio Brown posts something about it, saying, I'm not going to pay this money. This is ridiculous how you're treating me. Apparently, then he goes to Mike Mayock's office, or goes up to Mike Mayock, has a shouting contest, or not a contest, but decides to shout at his general manager. Seems like he's ready to go and fight this man, who is your boss. I may tell you that. Kicks a ball and says, fine that, and then walks away. Had to have been held back by 5 or 6 players, according to Adam Scheffler and a few others out there, right? And now all of a sudden, he posts an Instagram video of him and John Gruden talking. John Gruden says, oh, how cute, how amusing it was. And then all of a sudden now it comes through that after misconduct, the Raiders have decided to fine him, I believe it's $400,000 or so. No, $215,000 for conduct detrimental to the team, and now voids his just over $29 million worth of guarantee money. At that point, Brown says, no way I'm playing for the Raiders, in an Instagram video or a post, I believe it was, I saw. I can't remember which one it was. But then he basically says, release me. And the Raiders obliged him. And there's a lot more points that I missed in this, but I had to just cut to the chase because we could keep going on this forever. Because this story, you can't write this. This is a Hollywood script. That's what this is. You can't find this kind of stuff in Hollywood. You can't make this up. You want to talk about Terrell Owens? You want to talk about Chad Johnson being bad? This guy, Antonio Brown, is on a whole nother level. This is, I don't know what it is. What is it about non-first round pick wide receivers that seem to just have a screw loose? Am I crazy, or is it just like is there something going around where if you're a really talented wide receiver who wasn't taken in the first round and you turn out to be somewhere in the category of maybe a Hall of Fame wide receiver, do you just lose your mind? I'd seriously like to know, because I got to be honest with you, this one is just I don't even know where to begin, except for that. Pat McAfee said it. I'm pretty sure I've heard Kyle Hurd say it. I know I've heard the guys from 670 The Score and ESPN 1000 say it. I've heard it from multiple podcasts. And I said it myself before this thing even started. I said it when the first helmet grievance started. Antonio Brown did not want to go to Oakland. Traded for a third and a fifth to the Steelers to say, that's how much you're worth to us. Bye-bye. You're gone. We want you out. And then Antonio Brown sits in Oakland trying to justify that, I can be here. The frostbite on his feet, that's a bad sign. The helmet grievance, the moment that happened, I said, he doesn't want to be in Oakland. Where's the justification he wants to be there? There's no reason for him to want to be there, right? Except to play in the NFL and make your money and maybe be on a team that could actually be kind of good, right? But you're a quick fix. You're not the future of the franchise. The future of the franchise is in that quarterback, Derek Carr. You know, the guy that you unfollowed on Instagram? The guy that you said he's a really good quarterback, but just nobody knows it? That guy. Right? I mean, you had a problem with a Hall of Fame quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger. You had a problem with a quarterback who just had thrown for 5,000 yards. I just don't, I get it, but I don't understand it, right? I mean, maybe because I'm the guy looking from the outside in, right? He's the NFL wide receiver who's making millions of dollars, who's made millions of dollars playing the game that I love and many others love and would love to be in the same boat to be able to play, right? I'd love to have that opportunity. But of course, I'm not Antonio Brown. I'm nowhere near him. But this is this just boggles my mind that this actually happened. I didn't think the Raiders would go to this length. I give them props because it was clear that this guy was a festering bug in their organization, right? When you have somebody like that in your organization, in your company, in your whatever, that you feel is doing a disservice to you and your overall goals, best thing you can do is get rid of them. Antonio Brown caused a lot of noise. He's acting like he was 5, 6 years old in a supermarket because he didn't want to be there. The 5, 6-year-old at the supermarket with his parents, or her parents, right? They make a lot of noise. They throw temper tantrums. They throw things. They maybe even break some stuff, right? They do all that because they don't want to be at the supermarket. They want to be at home or at the toy store or something. They want to be where they want to be. They don't want to be where the parent wants to be, right? So Antonio Brown is acting like a child in this. He's 31 years old. Remember that. He's 31 years old. He's still in somewhat, you would say, the prime of his career, kind of dipping out of it a little bit, right? Wide receivers kind of dip off at the age of 30 from time to time, but he still seems like he can play, I would say. I would still say I think he's still in the top 10 conversation for wide receivers. Not number 1, but I think he's there. But this whole situation has just put his future in jeopardy. I truly feel that. I'm sure there's an NFL team that'll be, we'll give him a chance. Right? We'll give him a chance. I'm sure if we talk with him, he'll be okay. There's a lot of teams that are out there, right? Here's a list of them that I was able to find, right? I mean, you got Dallas, you got Kansas City, you got Chicago, you've got Washington, you've got New England, you've got Baltimore, New York Giants, Arizona. Some of these are teams that have been listed by some of those, so-called experts. Some of these are just ones that I picked, right? Buffalo, Miami. I mean, it's clear that any NFL team really out there that's not Oakland at this point probably could use Antonio Brown, I'm sure. But, of course, the question is, who has the salary cap? Who's willing to take on the guarantees? Because he wants all that guaranteed money, remember. But what team is going to be willing to pay that for what just went down? I mean, that's one of those things where I just recently, like very recently, just saw this happen where you see the girl at the you see the girl, the guy at the club that kind of goes a little crazy, right? You see that maybe they've got some anger management issues, or they're just going a little, a little too out there. And you still see them from across the club or whatever, and you still justify some reason to go over there, maybe buy them a drink because you think maybe for a short time period, like just a a little date every now and then, hang out. And then you see how, and then, and maybe you have a great time with them, and then maybe you justify, oh, well, maybe maybe they're actually worth staying with for a while. And sure, you could try to do that, and then all of a sudden, that's when, all the extra stuff comes out. You got to be cautious with this, man. If you're an NFL team out there, you got to be super cautious with this guy. It's clear that Antonio Brown is thinking on a level that is unlike anything we've ever seen before. He is way out there. I don't know what team would pick him up. I know a lot of people are saying New England is probably favorited. San Francisco, I know I didn't put them up there, but they're always considered to be one of those teams that could be on the favorite. But I really want to know, out of all the 30 teams that are out there, or 29 teams, because you got to X Oakland from it now, who wants him? I'll tell you what, you got to take it to 28 because Pittsburgh doesn't want him back. Right? I've seen some of the articles that have come out where Mike Tomlin had so many problems with him. Apparently, word got out that they've been trying to cover up a lot of his antics for years now. So this has been an ongoing problem. Back in 2012, Troy Polamalu said in an article with CBS Sports, yeah, we had an incident on the field and in the locker room. And he said, from that moment on, I knew this guy was not about it. He's not about football. He's about himself. And the Pittsburgh Steelers could have easily avoided that had they probably seen the scouting report, which I'm sure they did, but they probably overlooked it and said, well, maybe that was just college. The scouting report from Central Michigan that he had said he doesn't get along well with coaches, may not really get along with teammates all too well, could become a distraction in the locker room if allowed to sort of go wild. But he played well. He was a top receiver in the NFL for so many years. So why would you not justify letting him be able to go a little bit free? Well, when you did that, you unleashed the beast that is Antonio Brown. This whole situation could have easily been avoided, I think. Or maybe I'm wrong in that. I think it could have easily been avoided had you really locked down and maybe got him some help. I'm not saying he's got head issues or anything like that. I think there's something going on with him for sure. But this is beyond the egotistical levels that we've seen with Terrell Owens. This is beyond the cocky attitude of a Chad Johnson. This is something completely different. This is a whole new beast, a whole new monster that we're seeing come from Antonio Brown. This could be that one thing that gets him blackballed from the NFL. And he's going to probably be the first to do that to himself in NFL history, who is of Hall of Fame. I think he's a Hall of Fame caliber. I don't think he's first team, especially after all this, right? Or first ballot, excuse me. But I think he certainly can get in the Hall of Fame votes. He's got over 70 touchdowns. He has over 11,000 yards. He's averaged more than 12 yards a catch, over 800 receptions, and he's only 31. Imagine if he was still with Big Ben. Imagine if he was still playing with a Hall of Fame quarterback. Oh, well, what if he goes to New England, he's going to be amazing. Is he really? Everybody's under the impression that if you go to New England after you've had problems, Belichick is going to be able to save you. Look, Belichick's good, and Tom Brady's a really good quarterback, but how much trust do you really have in your quarterback and your head coach to change a wide receiver who seems to be locked in his ways? I think they're good. Don't get me wrong. I think New England is good, and I think they can take a lot of the players that maybe have those ego problems and make them set it aside. Gronk was one. Gronk had a huge ego, right? It really grew after he became a really good tight end. And, he had 1,000 yards receiving as a tight end. You saw he was really kind of out of control, but then he kind of reeled it back in. And he always remembered that, okay, when the season comes around, it's the team. Off season, I'm going to go crazy. But season comes around, I'm here with the team. I don't think Antonio Brown can do that. I don't even think Bill Belichick and New England can save him at this point. I'd like to believe so. I just don't know. I don't really know if there is any NFL team that can save his career, that even wants to save him, that even really does want him. I think Antonio Brown has pretty much put himself in position where the NFL career that he once knew and he loved is now limited. Teams aren't going to be jumping at the chance to get you. Teams are going to be looking at every opportunity to go around you. Oh, we'll just go to the draft. We'll just make trades. We have a receiver problem. We'll find some way to fix it. We're just not going to sign him. He wants a lot of money, and he's shown that he's a problem. I don't know if any of those NFL teams we've had listed, I don't know if any of them would be willing to take him. I don't know if any of them should take him, right? I know from Chicago's standpoint, look, is our wide receiver issue great? No, it's not great. It's decent. It's not great, though. Adding him could make it great. But think about this, right? Young quarterback in Mitch Trubisky, head coach in Matt Nagy. How's that dynamic going to go? Not only that, but how's he going to act with Allen Robinson? Allen Robinson, I still think, has number one wide receiver potential. He's bigger, stronger than Antonio Brown. He's not as big a playmaker as Brown. Certainly, I can't say he is. But he is our guy. He's been loyal. He likes Chicago. He loves being here. How's that going to make Taylor Gabriel and Anthony Miller feel? We put a lot of trust in those guys. And if things go wrong, what is Antonio Brown going to do then? He's going to go back to his old ways. He's going to diverge back to the original guy that was there in Oakland, that was there in Pittsburgh, that's caused all these problems, that probably caused a lot of problems at Central Michigan, that probably caused a lot of problems back in high school in South Florida. And that's something I would really like to know too. How far back does this thing go? Because he didn't get a lot of scholarship offers, and I'm wondering if that's maybe because the coaches said, hey, look, if you want to pick this guy up and sign him, you certainly can, but I wouldn't. He just only cares about himself. He wanted out of Oakland. I don't think he wanted to move to Las Vegas next year. I don't think he never wanted to go there because he wanted to go to New England. He wanted to go to Kansas City. He wanted to go to Philadelphia. He wanted to play with the LA Rams. He wanted to go to a championship contender and get paid like a champion. He wanted to get paid like a superstar. Well, sorry, but those teams already have great players, and they don't need you. And they don't have the salary cap either, and they don't want to spend it on you. So you got to go to a team that has the money to pay for you, and it's probably not going to be a good team. You want it out of Oakland. I know, AB, if you're listening to me, just admit it, man. You want it out of Oakland. You seem like you just deleted your Instagram, I think. You deleted, I think, your tweet, your Twitter, because you were so hell-bent on social media defending you. But after all your antics, what happened? Social media became your enemy. You wanted Twitter and Instagram to defend every action that you had. But they turned against you. Because you just won't admit the truth that you didn't want to go to Oakland. So you did everything you possibly could to get yourself out of there. So now you can go sign with whoever you want. But now the problem is, I don't think anybody wants to sign you. You did it to yourself. You acted like the child at the supermarket, and cried and moaned and complained and threw a tantrum and you threw stuff and you threatened. The only difference is you're not a child. You're a 31-year-old man who did this at your job while getting paid millions of dollars. If I did that at my job, if I went up to my boss, which not this boss, but my last boss, certainly, I would have some choice things to say, for sure. I would feel the same. But if I did that, my butt's out of here. See ya, bye. I'm probably hitting the streets and turning all my stuff in by the end of that conversation. That's what's happening. Maybe. I don't know. My company's weird. But I'm glad to see that the Raiders were like, you know what? We're done with this. John Gruden tried to do everything he could to be like, no, it's okay. It's all right. Mike Mayock and Mark Davis seemed like they were just like, screw it. Get him out of here. We're done. No more headaches. You wanted the release. You got released. But now you can't be upset if the NFL decides we're not going to sign you. People People will try to justify why you should be signed. And I know, and I've already seen there's people trying to justify why he should be signed. And there's a few that have said, oh, well, it's like Colin Kaepernick. He's just going to get blackballed. No, this is a different thing from Colin Kaepernick. This is totally different. Kaepernick was politics. That's the problem, right? It's a stupid problem that shouldn't be counting against him, but it does. Antonio Brown throws a temper tantrum multiple times in Raiders camp, threatens to want to hit the general manager in the face, punts a ball, makes it probably feel like it's almost a little bit of a threatening environment in Oakland. Seems to have completely dismantled a franchise, or maybe even saved it now by asking for a release. And there's probably a better possibility that he's going to get picked up. I don't know. I don't even know what more I can say on this, except you know what? As far as we're concerned now, the end of the Antonio Brown era in Oakland, it ended with a bang. That's for sure. It ended with a bang. And if you're curious what his stats were with Oakland, 0 receptions, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, 4 tantrums, 3 fines. It's something when you've got more fines and tantrums than you do catches and receptions. So, and receiving yards and touchdowns. But hey, that's, you know what? You made your bed. Now you gotta lay in it, Antonio Brown. It's really been quite a ride. Can't wait to see what you do next. What are you going to destroy next? CFL? Can't wait to see it, man. XFL, I believe my man Jake Bradley said it there. Man, Andrew Luck to Antonio Brown in the XFL is going to look awesome. It's going to look awesome. Can't wait. Cannot wait. All right, well, when we do come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be breaking down Green Bay and Chicago, what happened on that Thursday night. And also, we will be giving you all the rundowns of what's going to be breaking down on Sunday and Monday Night Football, giving you all the little predictions that we have for the rest of the Week 1 matchups right here on the XBomb Sports Live Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Man, I'm so hungry. I need somewhere to eat fast. I have no idea where to go.
Psst. Hola, me llamo El Taco de Taco. You know where to go for the amazing taste that'll have you craving more? Taco Bell.
All right, can I get 20 tacos, please?
You got it.
Thanks, Taco.
De nada.
Good. That's it. Eat the tacos.
Taco Bell. Live más.
Man, are you still working out? It's like 1,000 degrees.
Intense heat is nothing. To get an intense workout, you gotta be intense. Our friend here is getting an intense workout with the intense cool of his Hydrotech Cool Breeze shoes, which brings your feet a cooling sensation that is the best on the market today. Can only be explained with one word: intense! Whether you're working out hard or just taking a stroll, these shoes have got your back, or I should say, your feet. Aren't these shoes intense?
Maybe a little too intense, but there's no doubt they're cool.
And welcome back, everybody, here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. I am still Andrew Valentin, sitting in this beautiful seat in front of all you lovely ladies and gentlemen here. And I hope you all are still having a fantastic rest of the day. We just talked about Antonio Brown. I went on a nice little rant, maybe told him off a little bit. We'll see if he reacts. I don't know if he'll even give us a response or not. I'm hoping for the best, though. Still here with Jake Bradley producing us here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we go into a little fun part. Now, I'm not going to go too long on this one here, but I am going to try and get my digs in where I can. Because like many of us, Thursday, a lot of people went places to go watch, obviously, the start of the NFL season, especially around here. Why? Bears and Packers just started off at home in Chicago. What could be better, right? So I went over to my friend Anthony's house. I was there with my friends Anthony, Matt, and Justin, old friends of mine from high school, some of my best buds of all time. We sat there, we ate wings, we ate nachos, we did all the good stuff, right? We're watching the game. First quarter, and I'll start it off with saying the first quarter of that game was really good. They looked fantastic, right? They're getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers. They're shutting down Aaron Jones. They're doing a really good job defensively in that first quarter. They looked fantastic. Offensively, they looked a little bit off. They had they just looked off, right? But it's the first quarter. I just thought, well, first quarter looked fantastic. The last three quarters will turn it around. And the game went on, and the game went on, and then Aaron Rodgers throws a touchdown to Jimmy Graham. And then, and even before then, Eddie Pinheiro kicks a field goal, which the whole crowd erupted for. And I thought, hey, all right, we got a kicker. Awesome. And then Jimmy Graham catches the touchdown. And then at some point, the game goes on and it goes on. And then Matt Crosby comes in and kicks a field goal. And it goes on and it goes on and it goes on. And before I know it, the game is over. It's 10-3. And my Bears hat that my parents got me for, I believe it was my birthday, is now almost completely in the shape of a cylinder, stuffed in my hands out of anger and frustration from what I've just watched. Bears lost 10-3 against the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, 18 for 30, 203 yards, a touchdown pass to Jimmy Graham. He had a really good game. Trubisky on the other side of things, 26 of 45, 228 yards. No touchdown, threw an interception. He got sacked 5 times. This game was disappointing all the way around. Packers didn't really play very well. Bears didn't play very well, right? But the problem, of course, is that why are we more upset with this thing? Because the Bears' offense did not really deliver. Their offense in total, 208 passing yards in total of pure passing yards, okay, from the team as a whole. They had, they threw the 1 interception. They had 5 sacks. They had 15 rushing attempts, all in total for 46 yards. The top rusher, I believe it was David Montgomery, who came out with 18 yards rushing, I think it was. No, excuse me, that was Mike Davis. He led the team with 19 yards rushing. He also led in yards per carry at 3.8 yards per carry. I mean, it was. I don't really know what more can be said that's already being said by a lot of others, right? Defensively, we looked like a top 5 defense yet again. Looked nasty, looked studly. Khalil Mack didn't make a lot of plays, but you know what? His disruption with Bakhtiari, right, getting one of the best left tackles in the league to be distracted by him, allowed Leonard Floyd to have 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 4 total tackles, allowed Roquan Smith to be able to make a lot of plays, allowed Kyle Fuller to come up with some pretty big plays, right? Roy Robertson Harris, he looks really good. He's getting more playing time. I think he's going to really pan out. He came out with a sack. And this team did really well defensively, but man, you put them on offense. They just couldn't knock the dust off. Lack of preseason snaps? Yeah, possibly. I'll say this. If you're 23 years old, you probably need more practice in game time situations than you do if you're 35 years old and you've been an all-pro for a good portion of your career, right? So the whole justification of, well, Aaron Rodgers didn't play in the preseason. Yeah, well, Aaron Rodgers played the first 3 years of all the preseasons, right? Because he was the backup to Brett Favre. And then he became the starter. And by this point now, at 35 years old, it's kind of justified to say, you know what? Maybe you don't have to play at all because you've been doing this for your whole life. Trubisky is in his third year, second year with Matt Nagy in this new offense. Maybe he should have played like the first half of the last 2 games of preseason. I don't know. Just a thought. Does preseason matter? Maybe. You at least got to get him in game time situations. You have to get him more than just simulated moments in practice. We have to be able to get him into a flow and a feeling of what it's going to be like to be out there on the field. Just saying. I think they should have ran the ball a little bit more, lean on David Montgomery, lean on Mike Davis, get Tariq Cohen to get some carries in the game. He didn't even carry the ball at all. You just split him outside as a slot receiver and threw him the ball every now and then. Came up with some good catches down the late there in that last drive, but what did it count for? And look, I will say this. I know there's a lot of people that are hung up on Mitch Trubisky and what he did last year. But that was last year. This is this year. What I saw in this game, I saw him make some pretty good passes. He threw some really nice strikes. But here's what I did see from him a lot. I saw him throw off his back foot at least 10 or 12 times with throws. Just lobbing the ball up. If you're not stepping up into the pocket trying to throw on a strike, guess what's happening? The ball is not going straight line to your wide receiver. It's now taking an arc and becoming easier to be intercepted by the DB. He's got to stop throwing off the back foot. Has to start looking off the safeties. He keeps staring down his wide receivers. You keep doing that, you are going to put yourself in a bad position. Can't stare down your wide receivers. Have to start looking the corners and the safeties off. Look for other situations. Other thing you have to do too, stop running. Stop running so much. I get you're trying to escape the pocket, right? Offensive line did not do their job. Cody Whitehair whiffed on blocks. James Daniels didn't pick up on some. Bobby Massey could not protect the edge to save his life. Zadarius Smith made Bobby Massey look like nothing more than just a backup of a backup at offensive tackle. Charles Leno Jr. did a pretty decent job. Kyle Long did a pretty decent job. Everybody else had their missed plays. The only guy that I can say did at least a halfway decent job was James Daniels. Whitehair and Massey completely botched it. But outside of that, you can't be trying to run every single play. If the play breaks down, I don't know what the field situation was, but there was many times where he would start to running the ball, and you would see wide receivers open. Just dump the ball. Just dump it off. Stop trying to be a running back and slide. For God's sakes, slide. Jim McMahon never slid. Why? Because he always wanted to get the extra yards. But you know what happened? He got hurt. He didn't play very long because he kept getting hurt because he was a marked man because everybody, as soon as he started to run, he tried to dive to get more yards head first. And you know what happened? Injuries. And he became a shell of himself. We don't need that. You don't need to do so much. Ad-lib quarterbacks are not really a necessary thing. Why Aaron Rodgers is an ad-lib quarterback. Oh, he's really good, but there's a reason he only has 1 Super Bowl, right? Tom Brady's a system quarterback. Joe Montana was a system quarterback. Drew Brees is a system quarterback, right? Montana's got 4. Brady's got 6. Drew Brees has at least 1. And this is where Matt Nagy, play calling. Man, simplify the play calling. Don't have to run trick plays all the time. I know you want to be the new Sean McVay. We get it. You want to do a lot of fancy fun stuff. Do the fancy fun stuff when you're up 24-3 and you want to maybe put more points on the board. Simple dropbacks, simple shotguns, simple screen passes, crossing routes, right? It's not difficult. Simplify the offense a little bit, and maybe you'll find there's success there. Allow Trubisky to have a little bit more easy offensive play calling and not do all this crazy, kooky stuff. And maybe you'll see their success on the offense. I'm a little concerned. Excuse me. Thought I was going to sneeze. Sorry, I'm allergic to when the Bears do bad. I'm concerned with what I saw, certainly. It's the first game, yes. I'm not going to take it too heavily. But here's the thing. You've got to go now play Denver. You've got to play the Eagles. Then you've got to go to London and play the Oakland Raiders, right? Not in that order, not all in that order, obviously. But the first 5 games are really telling. If you come out of the first 5 games only 1-4, there's cause for concern there, I think. Not on a, oh no, it's over, but I would say cause for concern on that point, especially if the offense is not producing. I think they're going to win a lot of games, but I think they're going to be because of defense. And I just don't want to see a wasted defense with an offense that's not going to produce. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Trubisky is the real deal. I hope he is the truth. But I'm still not sold on him. I think he's just an average quarterback at this point. Because he had his first year was bad. You have to say it was bad. It wasn't good. It was bad. Right? Then he gets Matt Nagy, that first year with Matt Nagy, and then which is his second year, and he looked really good last year. And now, this first game, not very good. So he's had bad year, good year, so right now he's at average. And after what I saw in this first game, he played like an average quarterback. Make the changes, start doing things different. That's all I'm saying. We'll dive more into this, certainly, I think, on Wednesday when we have the whole team here, because I'm certainly going to want to get their opinions on it, Tyler and Tom and all that stuff. But for right now, that's just my thought on it. The Bears offense needs to really start to deliver. Like Matt Nagy said, unacceptable. It is unacceptable. All right. So, obviously, since the Bears kicked off the season, tomorrow being Sunday, the NFL season really does start to kick off. You've got a lot of teams who are playing, so I thought, we used to do this before, so let's kind of go through some of these games. I kind of got a few of them loaded up. I'm not gonna try to go into too much depth with these. I apologize if maybe I do, but I'm gonna try to run through these pretty fast. All right. So let's do this. So the first game up we have is Tennessee at Cleveland. All right. I think Tennessee. Cleveland right now is favored to probably win a majority of its games. I think the Tennessee Titans have a really good defense. I think the offense has gotten a little bit better. I just don't know what Marcus Mariota is going to bring. Cleveland right now is predicted to be able to win the game. I think they have the biggest winning percentage to go with it. And, and they're favored in this game. So I would say I think Cleveland wins this game by at least 10 points or 14 points, I think is what I'm going to look at. All right, next up, we've got Baltimore at Miami. So Baltimore, I don't know where the offense is at. I know they're going to try and run the ball a lot. I mean, it could work. I just don't know to what effect. I think that what Miami has pretty much just given up. They're tanking. They're ending the season. They're going to call it here. Baltimore's favored, by a good 6.5 points on this. I think they're going to relatively win this game, but I don't think it's going to be – I think it's going to be like at least a good 2-touchdown difference on those two. So then you got Atlanta Falcons at Minnesota against the Vikings. I like Atlanta in that offense. Matt Ryan is still as cool as ever. He's got all these weapons now to throw the ball to. Devonta Freeman, I think, is going to have a nice little field day running the football. I don't know how Minnesota's defense is feeling now. I think they look healthy. I think there's a good chance Minnesota can win this game. But this is kind of a big game for Kirk Cousins, especially to start the season off. And I just still don't have any trust in Kirk Cousins. So I'm giving it over to Atlanta. I think Atlanta is going to take this game. They're the 3.5-point favorite right now. Minnesota's the 3.5-point favorite, but I'm going with the Falcons on this. All right, next we've got Buffalo Bills at the New Jersey, at the New York Jets. I said that because they play in Jersey. I like the Jets. I still like the Jets. I think they're a good team. I know people, like Josh Allen over in Buffalo. I think I think Buffalo's good. Don't get me wrong, but I think Sam Darnold with the Jets. I think they're a better team. They've got a better running back in Le'Veon Bell. They've got better wide receivers. I think, although I know Robbie Anderson right now is kind of questionable, but I still just think that the Jets, especially defensively, I think they're just better. So, I mean, I'm giving it to the Jets. I think the Jets are going to be able to take this one. They're 2.5 points favorite. I think that's fair enough. I think the Jets win this. All right, next you've got the biggest gap, which is the Washington Redskins at the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, look, if Carson Wentz can stay healthy all throughout the season, obviously Philadelphia, I think, is one of the big favorites to go to the Super Bowl. Maybe even be, get that bye week. Who knows? I think that they should be able to dominate this game relatively easily. Redskins are trying to figure out if Case Keenum's actually going to be the starting quarterback. I think that's a myth. I think he's going to be out of the starting quarterback by like week 3, week 4, and Dwayne Haskins will probably take over, in which case he'll have a decent season. He might even take over at the half point of this game. Who knows? But I just trust the Philadelphia Eagles to be able to dominate. They got a 10-point favorite. I'm going Philadelphia definitely all the way. Next, we have the Los Angeles Rams against the Carolina Panthers. This is one of the favorite games of the week, and I like the Rams, certainly. Right now, the Rams have a 2-point favorite over the Carolina Panthers. I just don't trust Cam Newton anymore. I don't know what it is. Like, I look at Cam Newton, and maybe just the injuries, but I feel like his big playmaking ability is starting to drop off little by little. I mean, he's got wide receivers now, it feels like. He still has Greg Olsen at tight end, although he's a little banged up. The offensive line's a little iffy. I'm not sure on that. And the defense, while it feels like has maybe made some minor upgrades, still is not where it should be, right? Even though they still have Luke Kuechly and all that stuff. I just feel like when it comes to the Rams at this point right now, you've got one of the best defensive players, if not the best player in the NFL, in Aaron Donald, and you have one of the best offenses, especially if Cooper Kupp is back. Jared Goff is better when Cooper Kupp is in the lineup. So I would give it to the Rams, and not just by a small point percentage. I would give it to the Rams on a big point percentage. All right, next, it's Kansas City versus Jacksonville. This one is actually looking like it could be a close one because obviously, look, Jacksonville's defense looks like it's healthy. It looks like those guys are back and in action. I mean, Jalen Ramsey's kind of not been saying too much, so I think he's learned if I shut up and play, I'm going to be good, right? Still have Calais Campbell. Miles Jack looks like he might be even better than last year, which he really emerged last year as a really good player. Obviously, losing Telvin Smith is a big loss for them, but they still look like they could have a major impact all the way around. Kansas City, though, I think is going to win this game. I'm not saying it's going to be a huge blowout by like 21 points, but I think Kansas City is relatively going to take this game with fair ease. I would certainly say I think Kansas City it at least gets a 2-touchdown favor over this. I know they're favored by 3.5 points. I think it's going to be a good wipeout by Kansas City. They just have it's Patrick Mahomes with all of his weapons. I just don't see where it's going to be a problem. And Shady McCoy, I think, can possibly get a touchdown too. So next you have the Indianapolis Colts against the LA Chargers. This is another one big matchup for the week. I know the Chargers right now are favored because, look, obviously the Colts lost Andrew Luck to retirement. That sucks. Jacoby Brissett is now going to be the starting quarterback. They're putting their promise and hope in Jacoby Brissett. But I like the way the Colts look. I like the roster. I think they're going to be fine. I think they can handle themselves. I mean, look, Phil Rivers knows what he can do. And we know that he has weapons to work with. And he still has 2 really good running backs that they're going to be splitting time with in Eckler and Jackson. But I just really think that the Colts right now, they could be like in a mode of like, oh, we're going to show the world. Like, look, we'd love to still have Andrew Luck, but we can win with Jacoby Brissett. So I think there could be an upset here. I know Chargers are favorite, but I think Colts can take it. So I'm going with the Colts. Next, Cincinnati Bengals are going to be at the Seattle Seahawks. I would love to say that Andy Dalton's probably going to win this game, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, and this is not trying to be biased towards my guy Jake Bradley, who is a Seahawks fan. Look, Russell Wilson's a really good quarterback. I trust him to be able to beat that secondary in Cincinnati. There's a good pass rush that I know Cincinnati can bring with Carlos Dunlap and Geno Atkins, and I get that, and I know the offensive line for the Seahawks is not exactly perfect, but I think they can relatively handle whatever is going to be coming at them. So I think the Seahawks are going to win this one fairly easy. They got 9.5 point favorites right now. I think the Seattle Seahawks actually blow out the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm talking like 21 point differential here. I think that's where we're looking at. And I think Russell Wilson has a nice little field day. I don't know how good DK Metcalf's going to do, but I think he's going to have a nice passing day. All right, next we've got the New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. This is also another favorite game of the week because obviously Dallas has had a lot of issues been going on, right? Ezekiel Elliott's now officially going to be back. He's only supposed to get like 20, 25 snaps, maybe around 11, 12 carries. So we'll see how that one plays out. He'll be running the ball with Tony Pollard. But, I mean, look, Giants right now, I don't know. They could find themselves actually evening out with the Dallas Cowboys. I think there's more dysfunction in Dallas than what's being let on. I think the whole Ezekiel Elliott and all this kind of contract stuff is really it's really going to work this team a little bit worse than I thought it was. It could be a very even match thing by the half point, but I do see Dallas eventually pulling away. Dallas is favored by 7 points. I would probably say that Dallas can maybe win the game by at least a touchdown or a field goal, definitely. But I think that's the thing, is that the Giants are actually going to take advantage of a Dallas team that's a little bit shaken up from what's been a kind of rickety offseason, especially with the Elliott situation. So next, you've got the Detroit Lions against the Arizona Cardinals. This is probably going to be this is going to be an interesting game, and I'm definitely going to watch this because I just want to see what happens with Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, right? New offense, new quarterback, new system, new players. It'll be interesting to watch, right? I fully expect the Lions to be able to pull out a victory here. You've upgraded your defense a lot to get a pass rush on him, even though he's going to be sitting in the shotgun. Murray's still a quick quarterback, and if you can hit him just right, you might be able to hurt him. I think the Lions should be able to win this one by like a good 10, 13 points maybe even more if they can get a hold of it, because I know Arizona's defense is a little depleted. But who knows? Arizona could be ripened for the upset. Right now, Lions are favored by 2.5 points. I think Lions can definitely take this by like 10 or more points. Then you've got San Francisco versus Tampa Bay. This is probably one of the most – I don't know how this game's going to go. I can just tell you right now, if Jimmy Garoppolo is able to at least be able to complete some sort of a pass, I think we're lucky. Tampa right now is favored by only a point to win this thing. I think it is going to be a close game, a low-scoring game. I think there are going to be a lot of turnovers from Garoppolo, and I think there's going to be a lot of turnovers from Jameis Winston. I don't know if Tampa can actually win the game. I know Tampa's got the better offensive team, but I think there's a possibility that San Francisco could certainly come back. But if I have to roll with one team to be able to pull out the victory, I will say that I think Tampa, at least in this first week, can pull out a victory to start everything off. So I am going to roll with Tampa, but it is going to be like a 3-point, it's going to be a close game. It's not going to be anything like a blowout. Then you've got the real big game of the week, right? It's Pittsburgh Steelers against the New England Patriots. New England's kind of favored 5.5 points on this. I like Pittsburgh still. I think they're going to win the division. I think Ben Roethlisberger, Juju Smith-Schuster, and James Conner are going to be out for blood to show people that they are still the top dogs in the AFC North, as well as one of the top teams in the AFC, and they can do this without Antonio Headcase Brown and Le'Veon Need More Money Bell, right? They're going to be out there to show the world that they can really do something. And I like the defense, too. I think it's a young defense. It's going to get pressure on Tom Brady, right? Brady still has a lot of his weapons, but you've got questions. N'Keal Harry's out with an injury, right? You've got Julian Edelman, who's dealing with a thumb injury. You've got Demaryius Thomas, who is dealing with a little bit of an injury now, too. So wide receiver could be a little bit on the harsh side. I know you've got James White and Burkhead, or not Burke. I believe you still have Burkhead. And, you've got a number of weapons you can use. But I'm not saying they're cooked and they're done and they're not going to win the Super Bowl, but I think it's just going to be a tougher road to get there. I see Pittsburgh, though, being able to pull out a victory over New England because defense, I think, is going to win that game. And then the Monday night games, the Monday night matchups, Houston against New Orleans. Houston is at New Orleans. I like the Saints. I always like Drew Brees. I think Deshaun Watson's a really good quarterback, and him to DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a great connection for a very long time. But I don't think Houston is at the point right now, even with the addition of Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills, where they're going to be able to say, we've got 4 great wide receivers and a good offensive tackle that's going to solve our problems. I don't think that's the case. I think the defense, even after taking away Jadeveon Clowney, is still good, but I think they still need to add a little bit more to their situation. I like New Orleans. I think Drew Brees is not going to outthrow the world, but I think he's going to at least be able to get 1 or 2 or 3 touchdowns to Michael Thomas. And then the last game of the week, it's going to be Denver at Oakland. And now this is a really interesting game because Antonio Brown is no longer with the Oakland Raiders. The Denver Broncos have Joe Flacco. It's going to be kind of an ugly game. Denver's in Oakland. It's going to be an interesting situation. Oakland at one point was actually favored in this game because of Antonio Brown. Now the Denver Broncos are favored. So I would honestly say I think Denver takes this game because Von Miller is a dominating defensive player. The Oakland Raiders offensive line outside of Rodney Hudson is a little bit shaky, and I just don't know what's going to happen now with the receiving situation. I know they got a couple of good wide receivers. I just don't know how well this game is going to go now, especially after everything that's been shaken up. And this could be the beginning of the end for Oakland, certainly. So that is NFL Week 1. All the matchups, all my choices, all the picks I've made. Those are just my choices. Obviously, you guys can comment down below. Let us know who you guys think is going to win. Comment down below what you thought about the Bears-Packers opening season opener. Definitely comment down below about the Antonio Brown situation. We'd love to hear from you guys about that. Email in your questions and comments, guys. We were going to talk some fan questions, but we weren't able to get to it. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have to dip out of here kind of early. I know we usually sometimes go a little bit over, but we got to get out of here kind of early because we got some busy stuff to do, trying to set some things up for the possible future for us. We'll see. But if you guys want to make sure to find us, you can find us you can find me on Twitter at The Fluffy Guru on Twitter. I already said that. You can find me on Instagram at Boom Crew Captain, so make sure to go follow me at those two things. If you always want to keep up with the show and things like that, make sure to go to at Team XBomb Sports on Facebook. You can see seasons 1 and 2 where we started there. There's a few seasons from season 3 we posted up there that weren't able to post them to the YouTube page, so you guys can go see that stuff there. You can also follow us at XBomb Sports on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram at XBomb Sports as well. Make sure to go, like and comment on all the stuff there. We're always kind of posting new things up there. Also follow us on our Twitter too at XBomb Productions as well. That is also there. It is at XBP_official. Follow us on there. Make sure to go check us out. I know we don't have a lower third for it. We'll make one at some point because I got to remember to start pimping that one out too. And also too, don't forget to go check out Jake Bradley and Tyler Prickett's show, putting up points every Saturday on SportsTownChicago.com from 12 to 2. They did a really good show today, guys. They talked about Antonio Brown, the Bears situation, fantasy football. They do a really good job, guys. You did an excellent show back there. I know Tyler's not here, but for you, Jake, I want you guys to know, did an awesome show today. Really loved it. Really good stuff. Make sure to go check them out every Saturday, 12 to 2, SportsTownChicago.com, or on the Facebook page as well, Sportstown Chicago. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe here to this YouTube page, XBomb Productions. Like, comment, subscribe on all the videos. We want to hear from you guys. We always want to be able to hear stuff from you. We always want to give some kind of feedback from you. We're trying to do more stuff. We're trying to put more stuff out there. I know we've been saying that for quite a bit, but we're going to try to accumulate more stuff for you guys so that you can check it out, so we can try and do maybe like every other day to every day maybe stuff if we can get it done. But we'll let you guys know about that stuff as it comes out. But that is going to do it for us here on the XBomb Sports Live Show. Guys, I hope you have really enjoyed this, and hopefully everyone will be back. Hopefully Tom will have beat up the Joker at that point, and hopefully Tyler will be able to have swam back by that point, and hopefully Jake will no longer be stuffing Oreos into his mouth, and then everybody can be up here talking. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you guys on next Wednesday, here on the XBomb Sports Live Show. And as always, much love and peace out, Boom Crew.